I'd like to call to order the Madison District Public Schools Regular Board of Education meeting for November 2nd, 2015. And ask that you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Mick Honer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Honer. Ms. Gonzalez, would you like to call roll?
Sure. Ms. Barndollar?
Here.
Mr. Breck?
Here.
Ms. Cole?
Here.
Mr. Honer?
Here.
Mr. Marr?
Is absent with notice.
Mr. Pittman?
Here.
Mr. Morrison?
Here. Public input is fundamental to the operation of the Madison District Public Schools. Our public has an opportunity to speak at every Board of Education meeting. A period of time known as public comments is set aside at each meeting to give parents and other citizens a chance to speak directly to the board about school-related topics. Anyone who wishes to speak to the board must fill out a request form and give it to the board secretary, who now is Ms. Gonzalez, before the meeting begins. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. School employees will not use this form to discuss job-related topics. The Board of Education accepts comment made during public comment from anyone who follows these guidelines. Public comment is one of the many information sources that the board uses before making decisions in the best interest of the children who attend the Madison District Public Schools. The board also works with the district staff to address citizens' questions and concerns.
We have none tonight.
No public comment, thank you very much. We'll move directly into the Student of the Month presentation, Mr. Speck.
We look forward to this time of the month. Every board meeting. So we're going to start with Madison Elementary first. Mr. Giulio, why don't you come up with teachers?
Last month we had the little guys in school to kindergarten. This month we have chosen our fifth graders to be our students of the month. Staplin.
Okay, so I chose Tegan Barndollar. I have had the pleasure of having Tegan for 2nd and 3rd grade, and I have seen how much he's improved throughout the years, and I am just so proud of him. He's a great role model, and I'm very happy to have him in class again this year.
Mr. Tran is the other fifth grade teacher.
We also chose Hala Hadi. Hala is always excited and energetic and ready to learn, and she's always setting a good example for others and always willing to lend a helping hand. She always has this shy smile on her face, so she's very approachable and friendly, so she's a pleasure to have in class.
Wilkinson Middle School, Mr. Abdul Hai.
So our families are not here. Fortunately, our families are not here, but I'm going to present their name anyway. We have Gemma de los Santos and Miss Amman. We'll later on present this to them. So Gemma is second.
Okay, here they come.
Save the day.
Don't mind you.
Don't mind.
Let's try to help. They're coming.
Perfect.
Should we give her like a minute to record?
I think, come on.
Emma comes to us from Pueblo, Mexico, and she was in Mr. Robinson's class last year. She came in December and she received a kind of a big culture shock coming from Mexico into the depths of winter of the Michigan weather. But with a lot of determination and dedication over the summer, it got her to the right track on a successful year at Wilkinson here. So she received a lot of tough transitions, but she has started the year very successfully. So this is Madison. He comes to us from Pennsylvania. This is his first school year with us, and I usually like to honor some of my students that I teach at ESL. Even though I don't specifically accommodate or service him, I've gotten a chance to work with him through enrichment and seeing how much of a role model he is to the other basic English language learners. So he is a true role model, not only for all of my ESL learners, but to all of the students at Wilkinson.
Madison High School. Excellent. I'd like to bring up Mr. Randy Lober. Randy was here for our September Student of the Month as a volunteer for our band program. I didn't realize that when I went to find a student in our social studies department that Randy Lober would come back at second time. Randy Lober is class of 2004, Madison High School, graduated from Madison, teaches at Madison. I want to take a moment to recognize Mr. Lober.
Our student of the month on behalf of the social studies department is Renita Mason. Come on up. We'd like to recognize Renita for a few things. First of all, as stand with us somewhere here. Yeah. First of all, just as a upstanding young lady who's well supporting classmates, helping out, whether it's answering a question or loading out a pen, she's always kind to her classmates and being part of our community. But on top of that, she's also been outstanding academically. She's currently has a 4.0 in the class, the highest grade we can achieve. And all we can expect is more of the same, and so we can send you off to somewhere else in 4 years. So I'm glad to have you here. We're proud to have you as part of the community, and we hope you keep it up. She will.
Smile. Madison Prep.
It's always the best for last, right? Always the best for last. That's right.
Yeah. So I'm so proud to have two students of the month. We always elect a male and a female student of the month. So to start with our female student of the month, I would like Destiny Crittenton to please come on up. So what I'd like to say about Destiny also encompasses what all of the staff says about Destiny. Destiny has been an excellent addition to Madison Prep. She is respected by her fellow classmates and always has a positive attitude. She's very dedicated to her schoolwork and is always willing to help others. Her math teacher says that Destiny has a strong understanding of algebra and has one of the highest grades in the class. Her English teacher says that she has proven herself as a serious student, as she always makes sure she is on top of her work. Her science teacher says that Destiny has put a lot of hard work into chemistry, and it is evidenced by her grades. In social studies, her teacher says that Destiny is always the first to answer review questions and has an excellent work ethic. Congratulations, Destiny. We are proud of you.
A little slow, she done taken her toll on me.
One more right here.
So I now would like to introduce our male student of the month, Ryan Patterson. So Ryan has also been an excellent addition to the Madison prep school student body this year. He comes to us with a very good background in science and an impressive work ethic. His science teacher says that he asks great questions, stays focused, helps others, and always remains patient and polite. His English teacher says that it is a true pleasure to have Ryan in class. He participates in class discussions, volunteers regularly, and has earned an A in English. His social studies teacher says that Ryan is a diligent worker that is consistently focused on doing his work. Ryan participates in after-school clubs and currently has all A's and 1 B+. Ryan has overcome much adversity to be where he is today. He has worked hard, both physically and mentally, to get back into the public setting of school. You see, Ryan is a cancer survivor. Ryan is a true inspiration to us at Prep. Congratulations, Ryan. We're gonna move one more.
So as we kind of transition from student presentations to the report that I make on a monthly basis, we're really excited when we go through our process of looking at our enrollment every year. Oakland Press did an article 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we were only one of 5 school districts in the county that had an enrollment increase of about anywhere between 350 to 400 students. And we're really proud of what's happening within all of our different schools within Madison District Public Schools. One of the things that we also want to honor are some of the things that are some of our programs, some of the things that are happening within our different schools. And I want to bring up Mr. Dan Gilbertson, who works with us over here as our Director of Innovation and Strategic Partnerships. And we want to honor some students for some work that they did last year, as well as a new recognition that a program at our high school. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Speck. I'd like to first bring up, if I could, our friends from the Home Builders Association, Mike and Bill. You guys can come on up. And I'd like to just briefly explain what this presentation is about to the school board. In the summer, I believe it was, this last summer, Mr. Harwood, myself, your group with Elizabeth from Habitat, we all came together and we talked about bringing a student charter to Madison High School for the construction program. And we discussed it, and so we applied, paid a nominal fee for being involved with it, and then we have now 12 students as of today that are registered or will be registered to also be recipients of this event. So I guess I'll turn it over to you, if you would, and explain to the school board, the audience, with respect, where we're at with the opportunity.
Sure, thank you very much. It's my honor, Mr. Morrison and the school board members, Mr. Speck, to award this National Association of Home Builders of the United States Charter to certify that Madison High School, Madison Heights, Michigan, has qualified and been accepted by the Board of Directors as an affiliated student chapter of the National Association of Home Builders. The reason this is so important is that workforce development, the idea that there are careers to be had in the construction industry, from our perspective in particular, the residential building industry, is extremely critical. For years, you have to go to college, you have to do this. Well, you don't have to anymore. There are a lot of very well-paying jobs, long career paths that can be made right here in southeastern Michigan in the residential construction building industry. Our executive committee, our board of directors earlier this year in January decided that workforce development was going to be a primary focus. And so I'm also pleased to announce that while we had one student chapter for many years out at Dakota High School, this is the first student chapter, Madison Heights right here, first student chapter to be established here in southeastern Michigan in over 15 years. So this is a testament to what you have going on at Madison Heights. We look forward to working with your instructors, with your program, and with the school district. So with that, I'll shut up and thanks for the picture. Congratulations.
Also, new to Madison High School last January, we brought forward with Mr. Speck's assistance and school board support, a FANUC robotics curriculum in which our students truly are receiving an opportunity and learning some skills that are quite unique. Because the program was new for us last school year, it took a little while for us to fulfill all the requirements set forth by FANUC in order to issue certifications to our students. So the course is offered to seniors purposely, and right now, as the class of 2015 graduated, we had 8 students total that met the certification requirements set forth by FANUC. So as we all know, they've graduated, they're off to their different movements in life, if you will. But I was able to get a hold of one of our former graduates, who happened to be the valedictorian of Madison High School in class of 2015. So I'd like to call up Charbel Yamin to get his official certificate from FANUC as a certified FANUC operator.
Before some of our folks probably take off here in a few minutes while we have people here before we really get into the exciting part of the board meeting, which are minutes and all those kind of things. Just for those who are in the audience and people who have a chance to watch later, partnerships like Home Builders Association, FANUC Robotics, back in the September board meeting, I had a graph presentation of about 12 different partnerships that we have within the school district. Just going back and looking at that graph, the next time I show it to you in December, that number's up to about 19 now. And one of them that I'm really excited to share with you in December, which gives our students the opportunity to have different pathways of learning. Whether it's going to be, they're going to go a college track, which we push heavily at the high school, whether it's in workforce development, giving kids the opportunity to get some career technical skills, and then have the ability to go right from high school, while they're in high school, and help Habitat for Humanity and other groups build homes, whether it's in computer sciences, again, robotic technology, all of these different kinds of things. It's one of the reasons why we're seeing enrollment growth in Madison District Schools. There's no question about that, because of the work that our teachers do, our principals, the school board supporting this. And these kind of partnerships don't just come because you fill out an application. They come because people are interested in what we have going on. And I'm really proud of that. I know you as a school board are proud of that. I think our community is proud of that. And on behalf of our school district, to our families, it's something you can really be proud of as well. So with that, I'm done with my report, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much. So we can move into the regular meeting agenda. Let's start with 5A, the approval of board minutes. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the minutes from the regular meeting of the month of October as reviewed. That'd be the regular meeting Monday, October 5th, 2015. Could I get a motion to approve the minutes, please?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Horner. And support, please.
Support.
Ms. Cole, thank you. Discussion? Ms. Barndell? Was it you?
It was me.
I'm sorry. Barndell. Discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. The annual audit report. Abraham and Gaffney. Michelle, do you want to lead us into the,
Well, I'd actually like to introduce Alan Panter from Abraham and Gaffney to go through our audit report this year.
Okay, good evening. Okay, while that's downloading, I can get started with my presentation. So as Michelle said, my name is Alan Panter. I'm a partner at Abraham and Gaffney, and I'm here to present the audit. The materials that you have are I have one document for you, and that is the audit presentation. Everything in here is pulled from the audited financial statements, which were just issued last Friday. And also there's a couple of graphs in here. So my presentation will follow this document here just to keep it simple for you. So the audit went very well. We were actually only here to do our audit field work about 6 weeks ago. So we came in about the middle of September, and we were able to complete the audit and get it drafted and get it completed and submitted back to the school board and also the state. You may know that the state of Michigan shortened the deadline this year. So the audits used to be due on November 15th. That was moved up to November 1st, and that was done by the legislature, so none of us really had any choice in the matter. Another item that you're going to hear about is it was a big change for us, and that is the implementation of a new GASB statement, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, the GASB. They issued a new statement this year called GASB 68 that I'm going to show you what that's all about very briefly here in a minute, but the district had to recognize a $17 million liability on its balance sheet. So, and I'll show you that here in a minute, and that was because of the financial reporting standard that was implemented. So by this district and every other school district in the state. So that was something also that was different for us this year. We had to audit those figures and put all that information into the audit. So that was a pretty big deal for us as the auditor. So I'd like to thank Ms. Michelle and her staff for all her hard work. There's a lot that goes into getting ready to go through an audit. You have to close the books, you have to make all the adjusting entries, you have to pull support because we ask for support of all your material balance sheet accounts, a lot of your revenue accounts, and all those sorts of things. So there's an awful lot of things that need to be pulled together. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Alan.
So my plan tonight is to review some highlights of the financial statements, and answer any questions that you have. So please interrupt me with those at any time. And again, my presentation will follow the handout. So the first page of the handout is the independent auditor's report. The purpose of an audit is to give you an opinion on your financial statements, not to detect fraud and not to give assurance on internal control. So it's a very important concept about what it is that we're here to do. We're here to give you an opinion on your financial statements, which is what you see here. We're giving what's referred to as an unmodified or clean opinion. That is the best opinion you can get, and it means a couple of things. It means, first of all, the statements are formatted in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So in other words, everything that's supposed to be in the statements is there, and also based on the procedures that we perform, the numbers are good. So unmodified opinion is what you want to see. Okay. The opinion's actually a little long this year. It actually runs 3 pages because it has some explanatory information in there about GASB 68 and that sort of thing. But so that'll go away into the future. So it got a little longer. But so 3 pages of the opinion, and the next page is the statement of net position. So this is, as I stated earlier, for GASB 68 was a big change. This statement is something that I never discuss with most of my clients because it's very different from the fund level financial statements that you're used to seeing. This is all of the funds of the district combined into one column, and there's also adjustments that are made to this that make this into a full accrual basis statement. So there's things on this statement that are not in your fund level financial statement. So, and people ask me, well, that sounds great to have everything in one column. It's all right there. That sounds wonderful. Well, it's very different from the fund level statements. It's got everything added together, and as you read down the column there, it's got some things in there that you don't see in the general fund or the capital projects fund or the debt service funds or anything like that. You can see capital assets there, $21.3 million. Then you can see, as you read down, some deferred outflows, and I won't even bother talking about that. And you can see long-term debt. So that's your bonds. So you got your capital and then your bonds also in there. And then as you continue to read down the page, it says net pension liability, $17,677,000. That's the number that I wanted to just point out to you. That is the proportionate share of the net pension liability for the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan has a liability of about $25 billion, billion with a B, for underfunded pension, mostly for your teachers. So that is something that it's really nothing new that the system is underfunded, but so in other words, this has really always been there, but this is the first time that it's showed up actually on the balance sheet. So it's actually there, recognized as a liability. As I said, this doesn't affect the general fund or any of the other funds, so we're going to talk in a minute here about fund balance and all those kinds of things. This doesn't affect that at all. But if somebody asks you about GASB 68, net pension liability, those kinds of things, you can see that here, and at least you've got some kind of familiarity with that. And the other part about this is that the GASB has been very busy, and they issued GASB Statement 75 this year, which is the same thing for the post-employment health benefits. So in 3 years, there's going to be another number that comes in, another liability for unfunded health care benefits. I don't know what that number is. It's still very early in the process. As I said, it's going to be 3 years. But it's probably going to be another number, another big number, multi-million dollars, because the state is much better funded for pension than it is for the post-employment benefits. So I would expect that number to be very large again. But anyways, so that's the statement of net position. Okay, next page, governmental funds balance sheet. So this is back to what's a lot more familiar to you in terms of your funds. So this is a snapshot of pictures of a point in time as of June 30th, 2015. This shows the major funds of the district. So in other words, a major fund has its own column. And there's a calculation that's done every year to determine which funds are major. So you've got your general fund and your capital projects fund. So the general fund is major by definition, and your capital projects fund is where the bond money for the bond that just recently finished was expended. But I would like to talk about fund balance in the general fund. So in the left-hand column, third number up from the bottom, unassigned fund balance, $112,031. That is the amount that's available for future expenditures and needed to provide adequate cash flow and reserves. So we measure the adequacy of fund balance as a percentage of annual expenditures and as a number of days of operating capability. Currently, the fund balance is at less than 1% of annual operating expenditures and about 2 days of operating capability. Last year's about 7.4%, about 22 days. So the fund balance was spent down this year, as you see. That was a budgeted thing. And I'll show you a graph in a minute that'll show you some historical perspective on that. So we usually recommend a minimum fund balance of 12 to 15% or 45 to 60 days. So, and as I said, the district spent down its fund balance in the past 3 years. So you'll be able to see that that 12 to 15% was there 3 years ago and really isn't any longer. So, okay, the next page is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances. So this shows how fund balance changed. And again, the column format is the same, and I would just like to focus on the general fund as the primary operating fund of the district. Left-hand column there, third number up from the bottom, $930,186. So that is the amount that was expended of the general fund balance during the 14-15 school year. Okay. Next couple of pages are some graphs. The first one is a 5-year comparison to show revenues, expenditures, and fund balance in the general fund. So you can see that revenues were going down through 11 and 12 and 13, and then last year they started going up. So that refers to the growth in the student headcount that the superintendent referred to a minute ago. And of course, with more kids comes more expenditures. So you can see the expenditure trend is also on the way up. So you can see the fund balance peaked back in 2012, and that's the yellow bar, and you can see it going down in 12 or 13, 14, and then 15. So I do believe that in 16 the budget is anticipated to go back up. So that's there. The next page is a couple of pie charts. This is just a high-level presentation of where the money comes from in the general fund and where it goes to. So you can see on the revenue side, local sources, that's your property taxes and your charges for services. That's about 20% of the general fund budget. The state sources, so that's your foundation grant, the MIPSR stabilization, equity payments, categoricals, all those kinds of things, is 73% of the general fund budget. And then federal grant assistance is about 6.5%. On the expenditure side, most of it's broken down into instruction and supporting services. So instruction, those are your basic programs, middle school, elementary, high school. That's about 58%. The supporting services, that's administration, business services, people support, transportation, all those kinds of things. That's 42%. Okay, the last thing I have for you is the schedule of findings and question costs. So I just want to briefly review this, and this is where we would communicate any findings. We do have 5 this year, 3 that are related to the financial statements and 2 that are related to compliance with state requirements. 3 of these are either partially repeated or actually repeated from the prior year. And none caused any issues with our opinions. So these are all communicated as matters that we believed were necessary to communicate to the board, but none of them affected our opinion. And there's a management response with each issue that you can see there. As you read down this page here, there's some significant information on it, but there's one thing that I want to point out. About 2/3 of the way down the page, auditee qualified as low risk. And that's yes. What that means is that the district has earned that designation of a low-risk auditee based on positive results of single audits. So you have to have a single audit every year, which the district does. You have to have no federal compliance findings, which there are none. You have to have no material weaknesses, which we don't have any of those. We do have some findings, but none of them are material weaknesses. So the district does qualify for that low-risk auditee designation. So just to go through these, the first one here is a repeat of the prior year. This is just symptomatic of the fact that you have a small business office, and we believe that there's a couple of controls missing. So this is something that's being communicated for your information. But I believe that the response basically says that there aren't really going to be any changes made due to this. On the next page, cash receipts. This is a partial repeat of last year. We made a recommendation last year that receipt books be put in place at the high school, the middle school, and the elementary school. We found that they were implemented, and there wasn't a good trail from when the cash was received till it actually got into the bank account. So we recommended that, and it was put in place in the high school and the middle school, but not the elementary school. So that's there. The next one is the approval of timesheets. This is something new. During our testing, we do sample based on the internal controls that the district tells us about that are put in place, and we did find some instances where some timesheets weren't signed off. And, you know, it does say here we only noted 3 instances, but we do go through a statistical sampling methodology. So the 3 instances of the control not being there, it is statistically relevant. So that's there. It's kind of how auditors talk and think. But you may say, well, it was only 3, but it was 3 out of a sample that was statistically relevant. So that is there as well. Okay, last 2. Number 4, unfavorable budget variances. This is very common, and it was there last year as well. There was some budgetary non-compliance. So in other words, the budget that you pass as a school district carries the force of law, and actually spending $1 over that budget is technically a violation of the state law. So it wasn't just $1. We do apply a certain materiality threshold to that in order for us to report it. But this is very common, and it is there. It's probably the single most common issue that we have as auditors anywhere. And the last one has to do with the SOURCE program. That is, as you know, a new program that the district has, and we are recommending that the program disbursements be made with service providers. So. On the next page, federal award findings, you can see none, so that's good. No federal compliance findings. And then on the next page, summary schedule of prior audit findings, you can see the status of the findings that we had last year. There were 3, and as I said, all 3 of them were either repeated or partially repeated. So those are the status of those are communicated for your information. If you have any questions, that's all I have.
Questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It is recommended that the Board of Education accepts the audit report for the Madison District Public Schools for the year ended June 30th, 2015, as presented by Abraham and Gaffney, PC. Could I get a motion to accept the audit, please?
Mr. President,
Mr. Pittman.
to make a motion to accept the audit.
Thank you. And support, please.
Support.
Ms. Cole. Discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. 5C, bread products bid. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the Oakland County multi-district bread bid proposal from the regular meeting of the month of November as it is reviewed. Get a motion to approve the bread bid, please.
Mr. President,
Ms.
I'd like
Marvell?
to make a motion as read.
Thank you. And support?
I'll support.
Mr. Breck, thank you. Discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
5D is the milk bid. Can't find that. Apologize. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the Oakland County multi-district.
Dairy.
That's bread bid.
It should be milk.
It should be.
Same thing?
No, it's the milk, dairy.
Just read it above.
I see.
It says dairy, it should be dairy.
From Berkshire. Dairy.
Yeah, it is Berkshire dairy.
I don't see anything that says dairy, do you? Oh, I apologize. All right. Try it again. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the Oakland County multi-district dairy bid proposal for the regular meeting of the month of November as reviewed. Could I get a motion for the dairy bid, please?
Mr. President,
Mr. Breck.
make the motion for the dairy bid.
Thank you. And support, please? Mr. Homer? Thank you. Discussion?
It's a lot of milk. I think chocolate's the favorite. Love chocolate.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Did everyone get a copy of the personnel list for tonight? It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the personnel list as it is presented. Could I get a motion to approve the personnel list, please?
Mr. President,
Ms. Cole?
I'd like to
Thank you.
recommend that we approve the personnel list as presented.
Thank you. And support?
I'll support.
Mr. Pittman, thank you. Discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
All right.
Number 7, the business office. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the monthly expenditures totaling $2,568,278.53. That's $2,568,278.53. A motion to approve the check registry, please.
Mr. President,
Barndo, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the check registry as read.
Support?
I'll support it.
Thank you, Mr. Breck. Discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We're adding a number 8 to our agenda tonight. That will be for an executive closed session. We need to get a motion for an executive closed session concerning a personnel issue. Can I get a motion for executive closed session, please?
Mr. President,
Mr. Breck.
I'd like to motion for an executive closed session.
Thank you very much. And support, please.
Support.
Ms. Barndo? Discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Executive closed session at 7:47. We'll move directly on to open table discussion. Anybody have anything they would like to put on the table tonight or discuss openly?
I just have a question.
Sure.
When are we gonna open that road up?
It's open.
Yeah, but they close it at the end of every day, so what?
It's open, during peak, so during the school day, it's not closed because we have kids, especially on the elementary side, who are going across into the park and stuff like that, but during traffic time, it's open.
So after school, it will remain closed?
No, it's open after school.
It's open after school. No, once school starts, we close it. We close it over by the elementary side because kids are walking across the driveway into the park and into the soccer field. But when we have pickup time, it's open.
It's not
I
open.
know it was closed today.
It's
but
been
I'll
closed.
talk about that.
Okay.
It's fine. I just wanted to ask.
I don't think it's been consistent, so.
It's just in the front off 11 Mile is always closed, so that's why I wanted to ask.
Oh, I see what
Oh,
you're
is it?
saying. I see what
It's
you're saying.
every day it's closed. I didn't know, I just wanted to bring it up.
That's high school thing. We can look at that though.
That's my way home now.
Is it cutting through?
Oh, yeah, there's no
Shortcut.
lights, no stop signs, just zip through that parking lot.
They stopped, I didn't know we purchased them.
There's no stop signs there.
You didn't see it? No.
And how about, was there going to be a sign out on the 11 Mile Road saying that that's the entrance for the elementary school? Did we ever?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I know we do have a flagpole coming. That's supposed to be in the center there of the roundabout. That'll go
Yeah,
right in the
I'm talking
middle.
about right out by
Yeah.
11 Mile Road that says, main entrance, Madison Elementary, Madison High School or something.
We had to,
Did we?
but I don't think it is. We'll have to look at that, right, to see if we can get.
Would you allow us to go back and look at that?
No, we better talk to Buddy about that.
Okay.
Go into that slush fund.
There we go.
Can I kind of piggyback on that? I noticed here, it says there's no crossing guard at 11 in Hales. I just noticed it here, so I'm not sure if we could get an update on that, because just kind of concerned with the children crossing at that point.
They had asked about that, the city would ask.
We had asked about the city. Let me give you an answer on that because the one from Lorenz, there should be somebody there. So let's get you an answer to that.
Yeah, if we could do, it'd be great.
Yeah. That's one of the places where we need it.
Right.
So we're lacking cooperation from the city? I find that hard to believe, Mr. Speck.
Are we on?
Oh, yeah.
For our friends in the community.
Anything else for the open table? Okay, we'll move into committee reports. I apologize, I just put that in the back. Youth assistance, Mr. Owner.
I really don't have nothing. I'm still trying to figure out what the heck's going on because nobody's contacted me.
All right, City Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I had filled in for Mick that day, and there was a vote that went on to present the Park and Rec's position on the Madison District, Halfman, Madison Prep grounds and the city grounds, Sunset Park. And the vote was to state that the Parks and Rec Committee had thoroughly done the research and due diligence and had declined Madison's offer. I felt as though I provided our side to the situation, but I think that there was a lot that was misunderstood and that we were voting on the wrong thing, the wrong topic. But ultimately, the vote went 7-1, and they're presenting it to City Council to state that they do not feel that it is appropriate to proceed with looking into any building on that property if we should give up our educational purposes.
Thank you. Mr. Pittman, you want to bring us up to date with the Wall of Fame?
Yeah, I really have nothing to add, Al.
Okay.
We're just kind of in discussion right now, pre-planning, trying to come up with a potential first date for the first and I think we have a little discussion still on that.
Okay.
Mr. Howard's very aggressive. I
Terrific.
think we need some time, though.
Okay, okay. Community roundtable, Mr. Speck?
Yeah, last week, or when they had their October meeting, it was meet the candidates. And as of today, of November 2nd, tomorrow, November 3rd, is election here in Madison Heights, and a couple of different people running for mayor, as well as some unopposed seats for city council. And I was able to listen to those running for office, talk about all the things that they want to do for the progress of Madison Heights.
All right.
And I think I'll leave it there, Mr.
Thank you very much. I'm going to leave that alone as well. Oakland County Schools, Ms. Barndow, or anything?
Nothing to report at this
Thank you
time.
very much. So we'll move into board comments, and I'll open the floor with Ms. Cole.
Did you see me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was very proud of the Students of the Month. That was really, really interesting to see. I like seeing the kids. I'm really proud of the Fanic Robotics and that Home Builders Association. That was really, really nice to see that. The Fall Fest we had, that was great. Bubble soccer was amazing to watch. I didn't get to participate because I actually had to work and wrangle all the little children. But it was really fun. And I know my little one had a good time. I didn't really see him that much. He kind of took off and had a great time. So that's it.
Thank you. Ms. Barndow.
I want to congratulate everybody tonight, across the board, the Students of the Month, and everybody who was honored this evening, especially my little guy. I was pretty proud of him. So I want to thank everybody who did volunteer and all their efforts, no matter how little, how small, how big that they did with the Fall Fest. I heard it was a tremendous turnout. I'm very proud and excited that our community and our school district can provide such events like that for our district. Just very proud of everybody, and looking forward to Friday night's game. So
Great.
best wishes to that team.
Mr. Brett?
To piggyback off what they said as well, congratulations to the students and the parents. The Fall Festival was awesome. My son had an amazing time. I saw all the kids with smiles on their faces. I'd like to thank the sponsors that allowed that to happen. I've heard nothing but positive feedback. There was a lot of people that didn't think it was going to go on because of the weather, but we look forward to doing some more events like that, hopefully bigger and better, and more people and more kids get involved. Other than that, best of luck to the football team this week, so thank you.
Mr. Pittman?
Yeah, I really don't have anything much to add right now. I just want to tell you all that it really is my pleasure to serve with all you guys here. Honestly, I'm very proud to be a member of this district, and you know, aside from all the haters out there, I really am very proud of what we do here.
Thank you. Mr. Holman?
I want to talk about the Fall Festival. First off, I found it amazing that I didn't read anything on Facebook positive. I didn't read anything about it, other than, you know, all the people who always want to bash us and everything were quiet. So I guess that's the way we have to look at things. If there's silence, we're doing something right. I want to thank everybody that participated. I want to thank Randy Speck, and I want to thank Al for, I know what Al went through trying to put this together, and I don't think you'll find a superintendent anywhere who was wiping down tables, picking up chairs. So
Got his
I really
hands dirty with the
appreciate-
paint.
Yeah, well, then playing with the bales of hay, that's another story, but I just want to thank you guys.
Thank you. I would like to, I'd like to congratulate all the students of the month, and I'm very proud of the partnerships that we've built, and piggyback off what Bill said, and I'm very proud to be a member of this board. I would like to thank our sponsors for the Fall Fest. Without them, it never would have happened. and that's Emergency Restoration, who is always very, very kind to this district. Matt's Glass, Partners in Architecture, E. Gilbert, Van Eerden, Kemp and Sherman and Company. These are all people who didn't have to reach out, but they did. I'm very grateful for the fact that they did. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. So, go Eagles Friday night. Don't forget to go vote tomorrow. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Mr. President,
Mr. Brett?
I make the motion to adjourn.
And support?
Support.
Discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned 8:22.